Right now at noon, 50 bands will be playing on more than 30 front porches around Joplin this weekend. We'll have the details.
And some of us managing to get some sunshine out there in between the clouds. We're warm for now, but temperatures are going to begin falling in the next hour or so. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, oh deer! Officials are warning drivers to beware of the uptick in deer while driving on the roads. We'll have some tips on how to keep you safe during the deer mating season.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. In today's top story, there were no survivors in a crash near Seneca, Missouri after a pickup crosses the center line and hits a car head-on. It occurred just before 5 p.m. Thursday as reports of a 2-vehicle crash on State Route Y north of Quince Road alerted Newton County Central Dispatch. 67-year-old Harold Slatton of Neosho, Missouri was driving a 2004 GMC pickup northbound on Route Y when he crossed the center line and struck a 2014 Toyota Prius driving southbound. The driver of that vehicle was 58-year-old Ronald Swem of Seneca, Missouri. Both drivers were pronounced dead on the scene. The family of an inmate in the Joplin City Jail has filed a lawsuit in connection with his death. The suit filed by the family of Nicholas Bartlett accuses the city of Joplin, the Joplin Police Department, the Joplin City Jail, and 5 employees of multiple counts of negligence. According to court documents, on September 15th, Nicholas Bartlett was booked at the Joplin City Jail for charges including domestic assault. Bartlett was placed on suicide watch as he had been accused of causing self-harm. Less than 4 hours later, Bartlett was discovered hanging from a phone cord in a cell. Bartlett was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Court documents say the suicide occurred during a more than 2-hour gap where Bartlett was left unattended, a gap which goes against the police department's suicide protocol. The homeless population of Joplin students is on the rise, and KOAM's Anthony Saviello brings us the story.
Homelessness is an unfortunate but common issue within the Joplin area, and it is one that not only affects adults, but students as well.
The numbers have rose since the tornado year by year, but we also have had this position. This is the 3rd year that we've had somebody in this particular position through a homeless grant that we were awarded through the state of Missouri. And so I believe that we're identifying more students as well.
Tara Porter currently fills the role as the McKinney-Vento case manager for the Joplin School District. Tara told me that the Joplin School District currently has 7,600 students enrolled. Of that 7,600, 420 of them qualify under the McKinney-Vento definition of homeless. Of that 420, 116 reside in the high school alone. And of that 116, 20 of them are completely on their own. However, there is hope for these students, and the school district has many efforts to keep them in school and to set them up for success.
We really help with extracurricular activities, clothing, school supplies. We have helped students who are on their own unaccompanied, with apartment stuff, bedding, just an array of things that we can help with. We also pay for transportation sometimes and things such as that.
But what is causing this issue to rise in the area?
Cost of living is so high, and so rent is very high. And we have a lot of families who have had stable housing who are in the situation where they're having to double up and live with somebody else just to get by right now.
Despite the complications, it doesn't stop Tara from putting her best foot forward to help these students. Reporting in Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Porter also says the district is one of 13 in the state of Missouri to receive a grant that helps homeless students. And Joplin is getting ready for the 7th edition of North Heights Porch Fest. On Saturday from noon to 7 p.m., almost 50 bands will be playing on more than 30 front store paces. Now let's take it over to weather.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about Porch Fest and stuff. Don't worry about that. Lots of exciting stuff coming up. We had also talked about rain chances in our future. Right now, the Skywatch Storm Tracker has got nothing on it locally. Shower activity is still being confined off to our north and northwest. And so some of our northern counties may actually experience some showers. We still have that chance, but it's still relatively low. We still have the frost advisories, though. All of southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri, these will kick in late tonight and run until 9 a.m. tomorrow because it is going to get downright cold. So yesterday started at 61, so about 9 degrees above where we should be. Made it up to 79, so only 4 degrees off of where we should be right now. So not too bad in terms of at least our high temperatures, but boy, we are going to be below average over the next little bit. Quick look outside. We have some clouds, some sun in Joplin, 69, so we've actually managed to make it a little warmer than what we were thinking in Joplin. In same situation, some clouds, not as much sun, sitting at 67 in Pittsburgh. Our temperatures will continue to fall later. We still have the few scattered showers possible. Temperatures will start falling within the next hour or so. The good news is, again, they don't plummet, but they will begin to fall back down. And we've got those frost advisories through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're going to talk about that in your complete forecast here in a few more minutes. And of course, with all the crazy weather we get in the 4 states, whether it's rain, snow, not yet, but one of these days, or just a temperature roller coaster ride we're on, scan that QR code or go to your favorite app store and download the KOAM Skywatch Weather app. It's like having the entire Skywatch weather team in the palm of your hand. So again, we'll have more on your complete forecast, just how chilly it's going to get, and whether or not any warm weather's on the way again here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Well, on Saturday from noon to 7 p.m., almost 50 bands will be playing on more than 30 front porches around the historic neighborhood. Country, blues, rock, pop, and classical are just some of the genres neighbors and visitors will be able to enjoy. For organizers and volunteers, this is the chance to shine a spotlight not only on local bands, but also on the neighborhood itself.
The entire neighborhood kind of bands together to make sure that they're looking as nice as possible for Porch Fest. It's really amazing to see in the couple weeks leading up to it how many people are out and about putting flowers out, cleaning up their yards, making things nicer, to put on a show for the community.
And the neighbors get out and walk around and you meet your neighbors, and it's made a big difference. You can see a big difference in the neighborhood in the last 4 or 5 years.
Artists will also join the event. You can find the details on our website at koamnewsnow.com. And it's that time of the year again. You're driving down the road, maybe at night, and you spot a deer darting across the road. State officials are warning drivers the chances of car-deer accidents goes way up this time of year.
From now through October, deer mating season is in full swing. This means that the animals are more active and more prone to dart out in front of you while you're driving. Deer are most active at dawn and dusk, but can appear at any time. They usually travel in packs, but deer can be unpredictable and dart into the road, potentially causing a crash. An Indiana University study shows nearly 15,000 collisions in 2020 involved deer. This study also found that counties with the highest percentage of deer-involved accidents were in rural areas, with Pulaski County at the top of the list. 50% of collisions in the county involving deer. Experts urge drivers to stay alert and watch for deer. If possible, turning on your bright lights to help spot the deer. If you see one, you should slow down and try to warn other drivers. The one thing to not do, swerve to avoid hitting the deer.
Don't veer for deer, and that's very true. If you see them, a lot of times you can get involved in a way more serious crash if that instinct just kicks in and you try to swerve out of the way.
And weather in the 4 states region. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, the U.S. adds a whopping 336,000 jobs in September. We'll have a breakdown of the September labor market. And later, we're making English 2-in-1 casserole in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. Stay tuned. The labor market is still hot. We break down the September jobs report.
The U.S. adding a whopping 336,000 jobs in September, that number blowing past the economist's estimate of 170,000. The unemployment rate held steady at 3.8%, also higher than estimates, and the labor force participation rate clocking in at 62.8%.
I'm not surprised by this number. You looked at the JOLTS number where you have a lot of job openings, and that was an indication that I thought you would see a pretty good number.
Industries seeing job gains include transportation and warehousing, leisure and hospitality, manufacturing, healthcare, and government. The Fed now in focus, with some saying the strong jobs report means the central bank will keep rates higher for longer.
It may even push up the Fed's notion of what the long-term break-even or neutral rate of the interest rate should be going forward to keep inflation under control. And as that happens, you'll see the entire long end of the curve shift higher.
The Fed has sharply increased borrowing costs to tame inflation, but it risks a recession if it keeps raising rates. The agency is worried an ongoing labor shortage could spur bigger wage increases and add to price pressures. But in a welcome sign for the Fed, hourly wages rose a mild 0.2% in September. The increased wages over the past year slowed again to 4.2%. Meanwhile, the numbers for July and August were revised up by 119,000 jobs, a huge jump, putting pressure on inflation. At the White House, Edward Lawrence, Fox Business.
Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, we see what's cooking with Mr. Food.
We're cooking up an English classic that's making a splash on our side of the pond. What is it? Come on, join us. I'll show you.
But first, our temperature's still going to fall and it's going to get quite cold. We'll talk about that in the forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we are going to be warm for about the next hour or two, and then it's going to start to get chilly out there. Temperatures progressively falling through the day, and we mentioned some shower chances. Now, right now, Skywatch Storm Tracker, take a look. All it's really showing is the increasing cloud coverage out there, but there's not really anything else coming with this activity. In fact, any of the shower activity, which is fairly limited, is off to our north right now. So there's still that chance some of our northern counties could actually get a few stray showers, but I think the majority of us are going to stay dry. We're going to have this interval of cloudy skies, but see how it's all kind of pushing off to the southeast? It's going to start to clear out again a little later this evening. So future tracks still showing where we could get a few additional stray showers out there, but they're going to be very isolated. The one thing it also shows is our temperatures gradually falling back as we head through the evening. And I know, yeah, right, the sun sets and the temperature's supposed to fall back. What it's not supposed to do is not supposed to still be the middle of the afternoon and temperatures begin falling back. And this is why we have that frost advisory for Kansas and Missouri, because look at these by Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., mid-upper 30s for our overnight lows. And here's the other thing. For Saturday, our Saturday highs are right around the low 60s, okay? So that means with peak heating occurring in the afternoon, the majority of our Saturday is going to be spent in the mid to upper 50s. So much chillier than where we have been lately. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for that if you have outdoor activities tomorrow, that it's going to be pretty darn cool out there. Again, frost advisory, southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. They officially kick in at 3 a.m. tonight and will run until 9 a.m. Saturday morning. So if you've got any plants outside that don't like the cold, if you can, bring them inside. If you can't, try and get them covered up. Now right now in Joplin, 30-second range line, this MoDOT camera showing sunshine. But take a look. It's a little easier to see here. We've got that cloud cover off in the distance. It's not going to be much longer before those clouds pick up. Our camera at the KOAM studios is looking back toward Joplin. So here come the clouds just starting to move over us. And Pittsburgh, take a look. We're not seeing a lot of sunlight out there, are we? That's because the cloud cover there already increasing. And here's a better view of it from our camera at 7th and Range Line. You can see the increasing clouds out there. So in Joplin, still at this point, partly cloudy, 69. So we've made it a couple of degrees warmer than what we were initially thinking out there. North-northwest breeze at about 8. Heading over to Pittsburgh, where it's clouding up a bit. North breeze at 15, so that wind's picking up now, and it's only 64 out there. Look at that dew point, 36. We have dry, cool air back here. So Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, already getting in on that cooler air, 60, 59, 60. Starting to cool down, and it's slowly but surely making its way down through the south. So yeah, we're still warm, upper 60s down here, near 70. But back behind this, look at Iola, Yates Center, 16, 17 degrees colder now than we were 24 hours ago. So again, capping out right about 69. Those winds are going to start gusting upwards of 25. We head into tonight back into the mid to upper 30s under mostly clear skies. Tomorrow, low 60s with partly cloudy skies, so well below average temps out there. And as we look ahead, Sunday, beautiful day out there, sunny skies, 70 degrees, and then we see temperatures back near the low 80s by next Wednesday, and then a new system, thunderstorm chances, rain chances, which we need, kicks us down another 20 degrees to close out next week, back into the lower 60s. So we got one heck of a roller coaster ride on our hands with these temperatures.
All right, let's go for it then. Looking forward to that. Well, stick around because we're making English 2-in-1 casserole in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. It's time to check in with Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Today he's making English 2-in-1. Take a look.
Here in the Test Kitchen, we love finding new ways to enjoy our favorite foods. So when we came up with a super easy recipe that does just that, we couldn't wait to share it with you. We're cooking up a dish inspired by a classic English staple that goes by many names. We cut about a pound of mild sausage into chunks, and we'll pop them in the oven to bake for maybe 20 minutes or so. Now, while that's baking, we mix together some flour, salt, and milk. Now, once that's smooth, we add in some cold water and a few eggs. And we'll mix everything until it's bubbly. We take the sausage out of the oven and pour the batter over it. The secret is the hot pan. That's what really helps make the batter rise. Back in the oven it'll go until the dough is really puffed up. And when you put this show-stopping casserole on the table and spoon out hearty portions of this country sausage meets Yorkshire pudding classic, get ready for a request to make this again and again. And with just 6 ingredients, it couldn't be easier. Look, the recipe for English 2-in-1 is online now, so you can surprise your gang with a new old-fashioned favorite that's easy to make and easy to gobble up. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where every day we're looking for easier ways for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
To find this recipe, along with many others, just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and click on Mr. Food. Now here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
All right, so we want to remind you, we do have those frost advisories. Southeast Kansas, Southwest Missouri kicking in tonight, running through 9 o'clock tomorrow. That's for lows back in the mid to upper 30s. Only making it to the low 60s tomorrow. Nicer Sunday, storm chances Tuesday and Wednesday, rain on Thursday. Warm next week initially, and then it cools back down toward the end of next week.
Looks like a proper fall weekend we have ahead of us. And coming up tonight at 5, drugs used for weight loss like Ozempic and Wegovy have soared in popularity. Last year alone, they were prescribed 40 million times in the U.S. Now a new study is warning that the drugs can lead to an increased risk of severe stomach problems, including rare gastrointestinal conditions that could be life-threatening. Plus, hot air balloons will color the skies over Columbus this weekend. We'll take you to the Columbus Day celebration. And a local manufacturing company is hosting an open house to celebrate modern manufacturing careers. Join us for those stories and more here at KOAM News at 5. And that'll do it for us here at the KOAM News at Noon. Have a great weekend, 4 states.